Hello. Today I want to talk about elections and truth, the myth of politics in general and electronic voting in particular. Democrats today are easily recognizable. They are all suffering from media-induced depression. We see weeping senators, weeping television commentators, sad-voiced NPR announcers airing one negative segment after another. They all join in promoting variations of one subtle message, identifiable more by tone than substance. The sky has fallen. The sky is falling. The sky will fall. Their reactions to tweets from the White House, natural disasters, mass shootings, epidemics, deportation of undocumented residents, rumors of war and actual war. Their reactions range from fear to anger to protest. Then they slump into melees. All blame is projected onto the current president, as if everything in the world was fine up until now. Huh? How asleep have people been? And when those of us who observed Obama's disasters attempt to point them out, we are turned off, shut down, silenced, made fun of, ignored, and then blamed alongside of Donald Trump for all that is evil and cruel in the world. Perhaps this too is a symptom of depression. Misery loves company. So, if we do not join in the mourning and crying, then we are not worthy of their sad tribal rituals. I too am deplorable. Many of us are hoping one day soon, Americans of all persuasions will become intolerant of lies, hyperbole by news media, partisan political games, bribery of public officials, also known as lobbying, false promises, identity politics, slander, rigged elections via gerrymandering, election cheating via unannounced closure of voting locations, omitting exit polls, hacking and flipping of vote totals on electronic unverifiable voting machines, none of which is tolerated by UN observers in foreign countries. Please note that many of these crimes were provably committed by the Clinton Democrats during the 2016 election primaries. In order to stop Bernie Sanders, who was by far the more popular candidate and a clear threat to the status quo. More honest elections will not be possible within the current climate of corporate news outlets who present the facts within their own framework of profit before people. They present the news of the day as if the public is a child, incapable of thinking or discerning information and wresting their own answers from multi-sided, holistic presentations. With no tiny doubt, there is one thing that would end the funk we all feel to a degree: truth. Republicans cheer the words fake news, but they themselves have misplaced faith in their own announcers and representatives in Congress. Announcers who believe Republicans have all the answers to make America great again. Conservative commentators and politicians actually believe if we just stop feeding the poor, our problems will disappear. Democrats arrogantly imagine their leftist reporters on MSNBC, NPR, CNN, and their own representatives in Washington, D.C. are speaking only the facts when their bias and their barely veiled contempt for the president is glaringly obvious. By what standard do we assess what is true in these turbulent times? Is there truth? If not, then our laws are a sham, our politicians are snake oil vendors, and a country running on lies and deception is a dying country, its citizens wallowing in self-pity and criminal livelihood. Contextually complete facts, unadulterated and uncontaminated by the opinions of the presenters, should be the only standard our news commentators adhere to. Biased owners of media outlets attempting to spin their own facts by omitting information or outright lying need to be called out or ignored entirely. Fake news is not a misnomer. It is, sadly, the new normal. Our political duopoly has largely caused this state of affairs. When the U.S. Supreme Court opened political parties to huge corporate donors via so-called Citizens United, the death knell of civilized, democratic, honest elections was rung. Multinational corporations now control our entire political arena, including the media, senators, congresspeople, the Pentagon, the government agencies such as the FDA and the EPA, and now even the FBI is apparently compromised. Two political parties, feigning disagreement, are easily manipulated by moneyed interests. Citizens who feel their political party is the good or right party play into the hands of big money, and we all lose. Opening our presidential primary debates and elections to 3 or more parties might seem confusing or messy to some, but it is clearly the only way to begin to take back our government from too big, too powerful moneyed interests that are driving the bus into a wall of poverty and totalitarian rule. With no middle-class core, our nation is doomed to corruption and slavery, and perhaps will become ripe for takeover by even more corrupt state entities, such as central banksters, accompanied by mercenary operatives such as the formerly known Blackwater. Individual American citizens simply must become engaged in the political scene. To take Wolf Blitzer's biased reports as facts is pure naivete and laziness. The same can be said about nearly all of the scripted news announcers who use the same exact talking points fed to them by their owners. They are paid performers in the daily dramas of the tired masses listen to at the end of their long workdays. With the internet, we have more available information than ever before, more choices to explore, more facts, more sources, more alternatives. Perhaps this very abundance of perspectives is overwhelming to many. Perhaps it feels insecure or even dangerous to launch out into the world of new ideas. There are scammers, of course, but we are already being played by the mainstream media. So there is really nothing to lose by listening to alternative media and their highly specialized, focused interests. Before the 2020 elections are upon us, it is crucial for people to loudly protest electronic voting machines. It is crucial for Americans to demand open primaries in every state and multi-party debates and candidates. We desperately need to hear new voices with creative solutions to dire environmental and economic problems. Solutions that have not been presented by the two-party duopoly. In the meantime, Donald Trump is our president. He obviously represents a threat to the hidden puppeteers, or they would not so uniformly attack even the way he holds his teacup, his hairstyle, his family members, his grammar, hoping to degrade him in the eyes of Americans and the rest of the world as well. Like it or not, Trump is our only hope over the next 3 to 7 years. Yes. Unless and until members of both parties stop their pettiness, their careless and self-serving and dangerous lies about Russia, Syria, Iran, and others, their collusion with corporate criminals such as Big Pharma, Big Oil, Big Banks, Monsanto, Nestle Waters, arms dealers and manufacturers, Syngenta, and more, we are at the mercy of these criminal cabals who will continue to manipulate our government and our elections.